Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So I want to talk about Juan Manuel Marquez and his many contradictions. You know, guys, I know a lot of people love Marquez and they don't want to hear anything negative about him. I mean, not anything. Even if they know some of it is true, they just don't want to hear it. So I'm going to do you guys a favor who think this way. For those of you guys who feel this way, this is your chance right now to stop this video. Because there are going to be some negative things that I'm going to talk about when it comes to Juan Manuel Marquez. We're talking about nothing but his contradictions. All right? Now, before I even get into the Bradley situation that Marquez may possibly be fighting him next, let me rewind and go back about 3 weeks to a month ago when Marquez made a comment to a reporter regarding Floyd Mayweather possibly fighting against Robert Guerrero. For those of you guys who follow the boxing news, some of you may already know about this. But Marquez, he made a comment to a reporter basically saying that he wouldn't be surprised if Floyd Mayweather avoids Robert Guerrero because Robert Guerrero is a big, aggressive, good fighter. And Floyd Mayweather usually wouldn't fight an opponent like that who's, good, aggressive, etc., etc. Floyd Mayweather, he likes to fight boxers. And he likes to, he only likes to fight fighters that he knows that he can beat, right? Now, hearing that from a casual guy on YouTube who just doesn't like Floyd Mayweather, now that's more understanding, right? You can understand that coming from, a person who doesn't know that much about boxing, or he just has a biased opinion and he lets you know he's biased because he tells you, look, I don't like Floyd Mayweather. He ain't ever fought nobody in 43 fights. He's a bum, etc., 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 right? Like I said, you can understand someone on YouTube typing that shit and leaving that comment. But to hear Juan Marquez make a comment like this, it boggles the mind as far as I'm concerned. Let me tell you a couple different reasons why it boggles the mind when you hear somebody like Marquez, an intelligent boxer, a person who has been taught to fight with brains first, heart second, a person who fights this way. It's surprising to hear him talk like this. For one, you fought this guy, right? You fought this guy, and now you're saying he only fights, hand-picked opponents, right? He doesn't like to fight aggressive fighters. He only likes to fight boxers. He likes to take advantage of boxers and et cetera, right? So Marquez fought this guy, okay? Now we know Marquez's built-in excuse is, hey, I was small. I was too small for that fight, and that's why I lost the fight. Now forget the fact that Marquez lost every single round. Forget the fact that Marquez only landed 12% of his total power punches, which, by the way, has nothing to do with size, right? Typically, the smaller fighter, he has a speed advantage, and he's landing the majority of the punches. But the problem is, because he's fighting against a bigger guy, the punches are not having any effect on the bigger opponent. And what happens is the smaller guy, he hits the bigger guy with about 10 punches, but they do nothing to him. And the bigger guy, he just smiles, and he catches you with one or two of his big shots, and he hurts you with almost every punch that he throws, or not hurt you, but maybe he gets your respect. That makes you more tentative to where you don't throw any punches, right? That's more of a scenario when it comes to big guy against small guy, right? Perfect example, Floyd Mayweather against Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya was about 15 to 17 pounds bigger. Oscar De La Hoya, he elected to have the fight at a higher division because he wanted to take advantage of the size advantage, right? Oscar De La Hoya chose the glove size. He chose the ring size. He chose all of these things, right? Floyd Mayweather still beat him. Floyd Mayweather, just like Floyd Mayweather always says, I'm not going to beat you. It doesn't really matter if you're faster than me, you're stronger, taller, bigger, younger. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, I'm going to beat you with my brain. I'm going to beat you with my mind, right? I'm going to outthink you. I'm going to beat you with intelligence, right? How come Marquez couldn't do the same thing? Even Manny Pacquiao versus Antonio Margarito. Just like Floyd Mayweather did against De La Hoya, Manny Pacquiao, he elected to come in the ring fighting against Margarito with a 4-pound weight disadvantage. He elected to do that. Why? And he said it. I want to come in lighter so that I can maintain my speed advantage over the bigger guy. Right? Now remember, Pacquiao versus Margarito, Floyd Mayweather versus Marquez, even Oscar De La Hoya against Floyd Mayweather. They all have something in common. You know what it was? In all three of those fights, the smaller guy came in the ring with a 4-pound disadvantage. A 4-pound disadvantage, right? You don't believe me? Floyd Mayweather came in at 146. Marquez was 142. Floyd against De La Hoya, Floyd came in, and Pacquiao against Margarito, both of them came in, the smaller fighter came in at 150, the bigger fighter, he weighed in at 154. The exact same weight disparity, right? So the point that I'm making is, Marquez and all the people who hate Mayweather, they make this excuse. You know, Floyd Mayweather, you know, he was supposed to come in at 140 this, 140 that, 144. Right? Marquez was too small. That's the only reason why he won. That's it. That's the only reason. Right? But at the same time though, don't you guys find it kind of interesting that the same people who make that excuse are the same people who make sure they don't ever bring up a rematch? You guys notice that, right? They'll sit here, they'll argue you up and down that Marquez lost because he was too small. But none of them will sit there and say, let's see a rematch. I want to see a rematch, damn it. Because now Marquez is more bigger. He's more acclimated to the weight. I want to see Marquez fight Mayweather for a rematch. You will never hear the people who make excuses say that. You know why? Because they are content to just have that one fight and just try to take away a little of the credit. As opposed, because see, they're more worried. They're more worried that if Marquez gets in there and loses in a rematch, now they can no longer use that excuse. It's the same thing. I've been talking about this over and over. It's the same thing with the Pacquiao versus Bradley situation. Pacquiao fans were more content to say, oh, that first fight was a robbery. But then when you say, well, why don't they do it again? Oh, no. They don't need to do it again. They don't need to do it again because we already know who won. Please don't have that fight done again, right? Because they are more content to just leave that first fight the way it was. That way, at least you could say, well, Bradley was robbed. Pacquiao was robbed. Pacquiao was robbed. But no. We don't want a rematch because we want to continue to be able to use that excuse. If Bradley fucks around and beats Pacquiao, we can't use that excuse anymore. So let's just stick with the first fight and keep it at our excuses that we have. So this thing with Marquez, he talks about Mayweather not fighting anybody, but Mayweather fought him. At the same time, now that Marquez is more of a natural welterweight, he's not even bringing up Floyd Mayweather's name. And when a reporter asked him, he said, I'm not interested. I'm not interested at all. I'm not interested in fighting the best fighter pound for pound in the world because when he was criticizing Floyd Mayweather, something I forgot to mention, he did also say that Floyd Mayweather is the best fighter in the world right now. But at the same time, he handpicks his opponents. He only wants to fight, boxers, etc., etc. Now, this is so funny because I remember saying, you guys can go back and you can watch my Dante562 channel. That's where all of my videos are for you newcomers who just start watching my videos. But anyway, I did a video on there. It's the Berto versus Robert Guerrero prediction, right? Now, I predicted in that prediction that if Guerrero wins this fight, I predict that Floyd Mayweather will choose Guerrero as his next opponent. Now, understand something. This was way before there was any talks of who Floyd Mayweather was going to fight next. I predicted that he was going to fight Guerrero next. And you know why I assumed that he would fight Guerrero next? Because Guerrero's style is tailor-made for Floyd Mayweather. Quite the contrary to what Marquez said. Because see, Marquez, he says the complete opposite. Oh, Floyd Mayweather, he doesn't like to fight brawlers. He doesn't want to fight a fighter who puts pressure on him. He wants to fight a boxer. I knew that Floyd Mayweather was going to fight Guerrero because Guerrero's style is tailor-made. Guerrero comes in. Guerrero doesn't have the best defense. You know, and not only that, but Guerrero, he has the status. He's a champion. He's a WBC champion. He just came off a huge victory, just like Victor Ortiz had just came off of a huge victory, right? So I knew that Floyd Mayweather was going to fight Guerrero next. How come Marquez didn't assume this? How come Marquez is so off when it comes to this, right? You talk about Floyd Mayweather not wanting to fight brawlers. I talked about this all in this video, guys. I said this in this video. I said, well, people don't understand what Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, he wants to fight the aggressive guy. He wants to fight the guy who's going to come in face first, and they're going to be so focused on trying to knock Floyd Mayweather out that they're not realizing that they're falling right into a fucking trap. And they're sticking their head in the meat grinder. That's what you're basically doing. You're sticking your head in there trying to knock this man Floyd Mayweather out, and you're going to fuck around and you're going to get knocked out, trying to knock him out. A la Ali versus George Foreman. You fell for the trap. That's what these opponents do. And all of these haters who sit over here, don't know shit about boxing, send messages talking about, oh, you know, he's a bitch. All you got to do to beat Floyd Mayweather is just be aggressive, keep throwing punches. You dumb motherfuckers don't realize Floyd Mayweather got 43 fights. You know how many people have tried that strategy? And you guys still are dumb enough to think that it works. I mean, it's idiotic for someone to be that fucking dumb, right? Now, when a mouse fucking gets caught in a mousetrap, we can't really blame the mouse, right? Because that motherfucker, he doesn't know that it's a trap. He sees food, and he's going to try to eat the food by nature, right? But a human being, he knows that that's a fucking trap. He knows that it's a mouse trap. And a human being will still be dumb enough to try to walk over there and try to snatch the cheese. I know this is a fucking trap. But if I could just reach my hand in there quick enough, maybe I could get the shit. And even though the shit done popped on the motherfucker's finger 20 different times, he still thinks he can get that cheese. This is how opponents think when they go in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. This is how casual fans who don't like Floyd Mayweather think, right? I know because I talk to people at the boxing gym all the time who don't know shit, and they tell me, all you got to do is just be aggressive when you fight against Floyd Mayweather. You know, all the problems will solve themselves, you know, once you go in there and get aggressive. That's all you got to do. Oh, yeah. That's what Ricky Hatton tried. That's what Oscar De La Hoya tried with a 17-pound weight advantage. That's what Ortiz tried, 17 pounds weight advantage. That's what Baldomir tried. That's what a lot of different fighters have tried. Jesus Chavez. I could go on and on, right? That's not the way you beat Floyd Mayweather. I can assure you that. All right? So back to Marquez. So Marquez makes this ridiculous contradiction. You talk about him having handpicked opponents, but yet your ass won't go in there and fight him in a rematch, right? You talk about him, you know, he's afraid to fight power punchers, but now he's going back to back fighting aggressive fighters. 3 in a row: Miguel Cotto, Guerrero, and Ortiz, right? And then now when I say that, I know some of the haters gonna listen to this and they're gonna come up with another excuse. Because see, like I said, they have to feed the hate. You know what I'm saying? They have to feed the hate, you know, so that they can continue to hate, right? I mean, it's only common sense. Because once they hear something that makes sense, they have to fucking block that out their goddamn mind, you know, and feed the hate. I sit over here and I tell you, I debunk the fact that Floyd Mayweather fights aggressive fighters, and what do you say? Oh yeah, but those fighters were all bums. Oh, they were all bums. Oh, but Ortiz and Guerrero, they weren't bums when they was fighting against Guerrero, right? Because I seen all kind of people making comments. Oh, war Guerrero, war Ortiz. Ortiz gonna kick his ass like Chavez kicked Mayweather, Roger Mayweather's ass, and et cetera, et cetera. But then as soon as Mayweather beats him, he was a bum. He was a bum. Oh, Guerrero was a bum. Ortiz was a bum, a quitter, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? It's funny because I remember one of my Mexican buddies was telling me at the boxing gym. He was telling me, he was like, yeah, man, when I was watching that Ortiz Mayweather fight, Dante, I was at my friend's house. Of course, we all deep, all Mexicans. And he said, everybody's jumping up and down, like every time Ortiz, excuse me, every time Ortiz throws a combination or anything, he said the crowd was jumping up and down. They were all into it. They were like, yeah, Ortiz gonna get him. Ortiz gonna get him. And he said, I was telling him, Dante, I was like, Ortiz not gonna win this fight, guys. I'm telling you. Floyd Mayweather is way better. He's going to outbox him. He might even knock him out. And, he was telling me that, his Mexican homies was like, oh, you just a fucking sellout. You a sellout. What the fuck you talking about? He's going to win. You're a fucking sellout, et cetera, et cetera. And see, guys, this is what I mean when I say people are driven by their hearts, not by their brains. They're driven by their heart. They're going off of pride when they watch Floyd Mayweather fighting against this guy or that guy. And I expect this from casual fans who are only talking with pride. I don't expect this from someone like Marquez, who talks with his pride, because Marquez he has an advantage that these fans don't have. Marquez can actually get in the ring with this guy and prove what he's saying, right? People sitting at the house jumping up and down, they don't have that luxury, right? But Marquez has it, okay? So that's one thing that I wanted to talk about when it comes to Marquez. Now, I know I rambled off for a long time, but now let me go ahead and talk about this Marquez versus Bradley situation. Now, this is the thing that trips me out with Marquez when it comes to Bradley. Tim Bradley has been calling out Marquez since Tim Bradley was a junior welterweight. Okay? He has been calling out Marquez for 2 years. All we would get from Marquez is, oh no, I'm not gonna fight him. He's not big enough of a draw, or this and that, and this excuse, that excuse. He's a boring fighter. You got Nacho Beristain calling him a boring, stinky fighter, and Marquez is saying, oh well, he already lost to Pacquiao, so there's no reason to fight him, etc., etc., etc. Right? All of these damn excuses. And just like I just said in my previous video on the post-fight to Bradley versus Provetnikov, now all of a sudden it's a new day. Now Marquez is like, oh, you know what? On second thought, I think I will go ahead and fight this Bradley guy. Right? Matter of fact, I think I want to fight him next. Right? This shit is all hypocritical, guys. It's all hypocritical, and I gotta say, I like Marquez, man. And I was happy as hell when I seen, I was happy for Marquez when I seen him get justice against Pacquiao. But you're gonna sit here and you're gonna avoid this Bradley fight for damn near 2 years. Soon as he looks like he's vulnerable, now all of a sudden you want to fight him. You know what I'm saying? It's not really the best look for Marquez. Right? It's not the best look for Marquez. Because, see, the whole thing is it's perceived as you didn't have confidence to fight Bradley before. It's the same thing with Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao knew, just like Marquez knew, just like Nacho Beristain knew. That's why Nacho said, I do not want to see a Bradley fight. Nacho was very clear saying that before the fifth Pacquiao fight. Marquez, he was clear. Beristain, he was clear saying, I do not want my fighter to fight against Bradley, because Nacho knew that Bradley had the opportunity, had the chance, had the possibility of beating Juan Marquez, right? So, with all that being said, I still believe that that's a terrific fight. This may be a situation, Marquez, this may be a situation where he may fucking run into a big case of karma, just like Manny Pacquiao did. Manny Pacquiao had lost to Tim Bradley, okay? He had a controversial win over Marquez. He had a controversial loss to Bradley, right? I told you guys long time ago, before the fifth fight with or the whatever it was, is it the fourth, fifth, whatever, before the last previous fight with Marquez versus Pacquiao, I told you guys Pacquiao is in a tough situation because he knows he only has two opponents to fight, and I told you guys I believe that he was going to lose to either one of them, right? So I said Pacquiao was in a very difficult situation, right? And and I remember right after that Bradley loss, Pacquiao went the longest time he had ever went before making a decision of who he was going to fight, right? And just like I said, he ended up ducking Bradley or avoiding Bradley to fight against Marquez, and he loses to Marquez. And I would not be surprised if both Pacquiao and Marquez, are fighting in line right now to get Bradley next, right? It's all hypocritical, guys. It's all hypocritical. You ain't gonna never hear no excuses now when it comes to Pacquiao fighting Bradley. It's so crazy how quick the tables turn. So what I'm saying is, now Marquez, for all we know, he may be running into some serious bait right now when it comes to fighting Bradley, because Marquez never wanted to fight Bradley before because of his style. He knew that Bradley's style would be difficult to beat, right? All of a sudden, he sees him look vulnerable, and possibly Bradley. It's a possibility that Bradley may not even be the same anymore, right? So that's how Marquez is looking at this fight. But then you got to wonder, what if Bradley is the same? What if Bradley is the same? Then, my friend, you catch a bad case of karma. And I'm going to tell you guys something. For all you guys who can't stand Bradley and you love Marquez, you love Pacquiao, I'm telling you right now, guys. Because, like I said, there's a good possibility, first off, there's a good possibility that Bradley is not the same, and he never will be the same. There's a good possibility, right? But at the same time, there's also a good possibility that he can fucking recover. There's a good chance that he can recover and be the same Bradley. Now, I'm telling you guys right now, for you Pacquiao and Marquez fans, you guys may be in a dicey situation right now, because if Bradley goes in there and he beats Marquez, even if it's a close fight, or he wipes the goddamn floor with Marquez's face, then you guys are going to be in a very depressed situation, because you know what that means, right? That will mean that Bradley just beat Pacquiao and he beat Marquez pretty much back to back. And not only that, but if Bradley beats Marquez, then it will alleviate some of the questions about the Pacquiao-Bradley fight. There won't be as many people saying, "Oh, Bradley only won because he got a gift decision." Because now, if Bradley beats Marquez, now you have to take a deeper look into Bradley, and you have to say, "Wait a minute, this dude is better than I thought. This dude just beat Marquez, the guy who just beat Pacquiao." Now you gotta really go back. You gotta sit down and you have to assess the situation, right? So the point that I'm making is, Marquez is putting himself he's putting himself in a dicey situation, just like Pacquiao put himself in a dicey situation. The fight will be a terrific fight. It'll be a terrific fight. This is a fight that was 2 years in the making. I hope the fight gets made. Even though Marquez played these games, I still give him credit for taking this fight if he does. But yet at the same time, yeah, man, it's just surprising to me, what it takes. Bradley had to go through hell to get these guys in the ring, right? So we'll see what happens. If the contract gets signed, I'll do a breakdown on the fight. But for now, we'll leave it at that, guys. I'm on to the next one.